is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We have a 4-game Thursday slate on tap here. James, man, my friend, how are we doing coming off of this 13-game main slate here? I know we've had some big-time performances from guys we're in on, some disappointing performances from also some players that we like, some game flows maybe we didn't expect to turn out the way we did with that Utah Memphis game going the way of a 30-point blowout. All in all, though, for me at least, I turned the page. I looked at Thursday. How are you feeling about things?
Still having a decent night. Probably going to win my money back. Maybe something more if Anthony Davis has a big second half. But on to Thursday as well. Nice little 4-gamer. We are, there are a bunch of teams on back-to-backs. Toronto on a back-to-back. Detroit, New Orleans on a back-to-back. Utah on a back-to-back. We've already seen Spurs, Phoenix. That just happened on Tuesday. We actually just saw Toronto, Philly. So a couple of these aren't fresh matchups. A couple of these teams reeling maybe on back-to-back. So should definitely be an interesting slate. And, I'll just get into the Vegas side of things. Like 216 total in Toronto, Philly 8-point favorites, despite just first game without James Harden. I guess not first game since trading James Harden. They are 8-point favorites against the Raptors. Detroit, 7.5-point road dogs, despite not knowing the status of Brandon Ingram for New Orleans. We have Utah, 222.5, and Orlando actually 1-point favorites on the road. And then San Antonio, Phoenix, 20-point game it was. And I think Phoenix had a lead in that game. San Antonio actually just stole the game away at the end. Keldon Johnson legit stole the ball, put it up. They won the game. 225. So San Antonio, Phoenix running right back with the best game environment on the board. And we might have a returning Devin Booker. So a lot of interesting things going on. Not a lot of great game environments, but we'll make it work and have some good plays for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Let's jump into it here. Point guard position, as we mentioned. We'll see if Devin Booker is available or not. But I think either way, we're just plugging in Tyrese Maxey anyways. Number one play. We talked to Nick Nurse. We long time following him with Toronto. He plays their starters all the minutes. 40, 41, 35. He's come out 53, 57, 47. The price has not caught up to the production quite yet. So just continue to plug in, especially on a 4-game slate, Maxey here.
Dude, he's shooting 56% from 3. Like, it's just 50, yeah. 50, imagine he goes 50, 60, 90. Like, imagine, obviously that would be like the best shooting.
Could we have bet most improved player award on Tyrese Maxey? Like, was he available on that prop? Because I know he had a breakout year last year, but like,
yeah, he is. And I don't want my DraftKings to close, so I'm not going to open DraftKings Sportsbook right now. So if you want to open it, you can. But yeah, for sure. 37-6 through 3 games is kind of outrageous. Not on the injury report either. There was that little hand issue that they were talking about. No longer on the injury report. It's plug and play. Tyrese Maxey season. Getting Dennis Schroeder defense on the second leg of a back-to-back is pretty juicy.
Yeah, I'm actually curious who's really the more improved player award. Is it him or the guy that's right below him in pricing? Scotty Barnes had himself a hell of a year. Yeah. Going off against the matchup against Milwaukee, DraftKings stats don't have it updated yet on the page, but I'll just read off what he did to Giannis and company here in a game in which Toronto won by 19. In 29 minutes, Scotty Barnes went for 21, 12, 5, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Continuing just a ridiculous start to the year there for Scotty Barnes here. So some wild production.
Yeah, and the best part about Scotty Barnes is outside of not the best part, but another just sprinkle on top is you can play him at so many different positions, point guard, small forward. So if you want to play if you wanted to start your lineup Maxey Barnes and not like worry about spending up to find value, you could do that and you'd be super happy because Maxey and Barnes have both gone for 50 a handful of times each. So.
One of the chalkier plays on the Wednesday slate was CJ McCollum. We'll have to wait for the Brandon Ingram news here. They are on a back-to-back, as is Toronto, as you just mentioned, with Scotty Barnes here. But McCollum came through with a big-time performance on Wednesday. So if Ingram is out, you can probably expect some rostership heading his way. You've mentioned Dennis Schroeder as well here. How are you handling some of these value guards? Jeremy Sohan, Markelle Fultz, Jordan Goodwin, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Suggs, only 5K after the way he's played the last couple of games here. Do you got a favorite value guard?
Sohan's fine. I like the 30 minutes. We just know he's going to need to stuff the stat sheet to get us there. Dennis Schroeder, 62. He had a huge game on Wednesday. He was, I think, in the optimal lineup, if I'm not mistaken. He had like 50 fantasy points on Wednesday. So, I mean, this it's still going. So as we record, so as of right now, he's in the optimal. Fultz is fine. Second leg of a back-to-back didn't look as good as the first leg, but he was really good in that first game. I love the minutes on Fultz in the last two games after like kind of not playing.
Yeah.
I don't really want to pay $5,400 for Jordan Goodwin. We already saw the minutes tick down in a competitive game.
Yeah, and they could have Booker back here.
Yeah, now Booker might be back. It's probably a no from me. Jaden Ivey could be a little bit interesting here. The Alec Burks late scratch was a little bit weird, and he got scratched after lock, didn't play. Ivey did see 22 minutes, 10-2-2-1-1. He's finally, like, the price just finally continues to fall and fall and fall. I mean, I guess it started at 6K. It's been pretty down, but in tournaments, small slate, Ivey's fine. Cole Anthony tournaments. Talon Horton-Tucker's been better the last couple games, John. If you want to go there, he's been, outside the Phoenix game, I guess he's been pretty good. I don't know. Anything else?
I mean, I just keep saying Jalen Suggs too. I mean, I would rather play Jalen Suggs over Markelle Fultz. We had this back and forth. The other night going against the Lakers, I think it was, the Clippers. I mean, the minutes for him, he finally got over 30 for the first time against the Clippers here, but production's been really good. He's rebounding really well. I mean, again, I think I play him over Fultz for the price at this point.
I think that back and forth was between Cole Anthony and Fultz, because I did not disagree on Suggs. Suggs has been better. The Cole Anthony thing was more and we saw the minutes kind of directly impact. If Fultz is playing big minutes, Suggs has not been impacted by the Fultz minutes. It's been the Anthony. So if Anthony doesn't come in and make all the shots right away, he's been taken off the floor in 2 straight games. I agree on the Suggs front. He's doing everything. For
5K, he should be the same price as Fultz, in my opinion, at 55. So you're getting a little discount. A guy who came off the bench tonight and hit every shot was Colin Sexton. I don't know if he's going to be able to repeat that kind of performance, but the man, I think he was 4 or 5 from 3. One of the reasons why Utah took the first quarter 42-19 against Memphis and basically never looked back was because Sexton and Kelly Olynyk came in off the bench and just hit every shot they took. We know he can score. Only 2 really good games here, with the one against Phoenix and the one tonight. So we'll see on the back-to-back, but they are at least home here. Any other guards, though, for you? I mean, you talked Daniels. You played Dyson Daniels on the Wednesday slate. If there's no Ingram again, would you consider Dyson Daniels in your player pool?
Yeah. Let's see what the final count for minutes was. He ended up with 20 fantasy points, which he was 3,600. So now, obviously a price bump. 25 minutes again. So we've now seen 22, 24, 25 minutes in 3 straight games for Dyson Daniels. Preseason darling. I don't hate getting to Daniels. And then I'll just throw this name out there, Marcus Sasser for the Pistons. Hadn't been playing a lot. Tonight, he played they don't want to play Jaden Ivey, right? They don't. I mean, they just apparently don't. I mean, 22 minutes is fine for Ivy, but 23 minutes for Marcus Sasser, 8-6, 3 rebounds, 4 steals, and a block. Now, the steals and block, obviously, not good. 5 blocks and steals in 23 minutes for a bench player, not like sustainable, but he's $3,600. Not the easiest game, I would say. Detroit, I mean, has to travel to New Orleans, second leg of a back-to-back. if there's no Alec Burks again, Sasser's kind of already been playing every day. 14 minutes last game, followed by 23.
Yeah.
Looking at the popcorn machine, he closed the final 4 minutes with Thompson, Cade, Stewart, and Joe Harris. That was their finishing lineup in the final 4 minutes. So yeah, I don't know, 23 minutes. He played a lot of them in the first half, 12 minutes in the first, so 12 minutes in the second half. I mean, just throwing that out there. If there's no Alec Burks, Marcus Sasser could be an option.
Agreed. What are we going at the shooting guard position here? We talked on the stream on Wednesday. Every other game for Cade Cunningham has been good or bad. He had a great night on Wednesday. Does he buck the trend and have back-to-back good performances, or are we in for a down night here?
I mean, I don't believe in those types of things, but if I'm sure someone does. So I'm sure someone out there. I think it's just going to be a roller coaster with Cade, regardless of like good or bad day. We might get 2 good days in a row. We might get 2 bad days in a row from Cade, and it is what it is. But I think if there's no Jalen Duren again, and like Marvin Bagley's on the floor, they need Cade to be really offensive minded. 35, 4 and a steal. He took 27 shots on Wednesday. Love that. So I'm perfectly fine getting to Cade. Is this the cheapest he's been? Yeah, it's the cheapest he's been. So
coming off of a monster night, highest scoring game of the season. So
so I'm willing to second
highest scoring.
Yeah, he tied. This is the second time he scored 30 actually.
Yep. We talked Schroeder already. Any interest in OG, or do we just kind of look at these Phoenix guys? Eric Gordon keeps on just trucking right now. 5,500 against San Antonio here.
Well, I don't know if you meant. I'm okay getting to Gordon. I guess it.
Vassell here at 68. I felt like he was a little bit too pricey, but maybe.
I mean, the thing about Vassell is they gave him $140 million, and last year we saw like this was kind of supposed to be the guy. If Wemby's going to continue to just like kind of be limited,
sure.
Zach Collins has only played 28 minutes because of foul trouble the last couple of games. Trey Jones off the bench, and they're starting Sohan at point guard. Like Vassell needs to score 17 shots twice in 4 games.
For me, he's just like he's like just getting over 5x at the price versus the production. So like if we have a 32 fantasy point game at 68, we're missing. So I just felt like he was maybe playing a little bit too much at the ceiling. Given when you have someone like Eric Gordon at $1,300 cheaper than him, 31 and 33 the last 2 games. So for me, I kind of like Gordon a little bit more, but I get what you're saying on Vassell, and we are on a smaller slate. So if Vassell was to give you 35 or 34 at his price, still could be one of the higher, production on the slate.
Yeah, and this game is the best on the board. 225 total is 3 points better than every other game. I don't think Gordon is directly impacted by Booker that much because we saw in game number 1 he took 16 shots. He's just shooting a lot. But I mean, the minutes would definitely take a little hit if you're talking about Devin Booker's return. So like if Booker were to come back,
do you think
so?
I don't think
36.
Beal was out and Gordon played 32.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be like a drastic hit, but he's not. I don't think he's going to play 36.
Okay. It feels like to me he would be probably still in line for the most minutes of the other Suns. I guess I'll call them, right. Like,
well, we saw he didn't start when they started.
No, I know, but he still played 32 minutes off the bench in that scenario. So, and we don't know what their rotation is going to look like now. They've now seen how Gordon has played, right? I mean, it's the opening night.
He has played well.
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, we don't even know if Booker is going to be in or out or not. So, where else are we going here in the shooting guard position? Do we think Jordan Clarkson can follow up his productive game on Wednesday?
Dude, the price tag is really appealing, isn't it? Yeah. 5,400 is kind of like silly.
I mean, he was crap until Memphis. He came in against Memphis tonight and just shot the lights out, as did everybody on that team. So, but he was decent the first couple of games on the season. He was over 6K. Now all of a sudden he's $6,000 or $5,400 rather on this slate, coming off a game in which in just 26 minutes he was 8 of 13. 26, 5, and 2 steals for Jordan Clarkson tonight.
Not too bad of the day at the office
Nope.
there. Yeah, I think 5,400. I could see a scenario where he's pretty popular. So I think Clarkson's fine. Melton's interesting. He'll continue to start and play 30 minutes. He's been pretty bad. Finally had a good game against Portland, but everyone has good games against Portland.
Seemingly.
And then I don't know. I mean, look, Grayson Allen's been playing big minutes too. If there's no Booker, he's kind of like similar to Eric Gordon. He's not going to take the same amount of shots as Eric Gordon, but peripherally, he's been very good peripherally.
He's been super efficient, which has been good. I mean,
because
you're not shooting a lot, you got to make the shot to shoot. So that has certainly worked out. If Alec Burks does come back and play in this game, I'm fine. Jordan Hawkins got a big price bump, but I mean, he was not efficient. But what do you end up with? 18 shots?
Yeah, that's what I was going to check. He took. He was 4 for 19, 2 for 13 from 3.
Yeah. Not great, but he did finish with like 30 fantasy points because he had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. If Ingram is out and Hawkins is starting again, I know the price again is up. Are you interested in paying $4,600 for him? The minutes there, he played 37 minutes, so
it's the answer is,
and he was a lottery pick this year.
The answer should be yes. So I'll say yes. I tweeted, and I was obviously wrong, but I tweeted tired Jordan Hawkins wired Dyson Daniels on. And it's not like Daniels was bad, but Hawkins was just bad. So
I mean, sort of. Like if you just ignore
from a fantasy perspective, maybe that gives Daniels a little like in real basketball. They're like, maybe we should play Dyson Daniels more because Jordan Hawkins was 2 for 13 from 3, but. If Jordan Hawkins is starting with no Ingram, I have no problem getting there.
Yeah, I agree. Small forward. Laurie's here, 9K. Big sad tonight on Laurie Markin. It was off just a monster night. Still doubled, but again, 30-point blowout there. He also got into some foul trouble at the end. Got 2 fouls, one without the clock running, and away from the ball foul at one point to give him 4. But he's been great. Thoughts on this matchup against Orlando, though? We do talk about Orlando a lot with their front court. Having Wendell Carter, Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, John Isaac, they can throw a bunch of bodies at you that are kind of big. Does that worry you at all with Laurie in the back-to-back here?
I would say, I mean, it's a mild concern. I think more concerning, he was 8,400 on Wednesday, he's 9K on Thursday. I mean, not that 9K, like he's shown a near 60-point ceiling twice. So it's not that 9K is like out of the realm of like reachable and surpass, like he can surpass that easy. But I don't necessarily worry that much about Orlando, especially like Utah back-to-back at home. And he got to rest for pretty much the entire second half.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay getting to market in tournaments.
I'll be very okay playing Franz Wagner again.
Dude, it's like, again, he's not playing out of his mind where it's like there's a crazy ceiling, but he is so safe every night.
And I think he can play a little bit better, honestly.
He can. He absolutely can.
Shots, but like 37, 36 at 67, fine. Obviously 30 at 68 is not the best outcome, but what do we talk about going into the slate? Utah is the worst defensive team in the NBA prior to what happened tonight. Again, that was more of their offense kind of playing defense for them there. Than anything else here. So I do like Franz Wagner a lot tonight in that mid-tier price tag. Our guy Oscar Thompson came through, had a nice night for himself with Jalen Durant out of the lineup. Got off to a really strong start with the defensive numbers, kind of like in the second half for a lot of these Detroit guys. Outside of, I guess, Cade Cunningham, didn't do like a ton, but he finished with 16, 7, 2, and 2. Again, I think he had 12 and like 5 and like those steals before half. So again, could have had a better second half there, but I do think the price is up now. 66.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
So it's the value is kind of going away a bit, but I mean 40, 34, 31, he probably had close to 40 fantasy points again tonight. Or a little over 30 fantasy points again tonight. So not a terrible spot for a guy we do like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a price thing. It's just right. I mean, you said it too. It's just that's
Kelly Oubre is moving into the starting lineup. We got that announcement, which means Nick Nurse starting lineup, 35 minutes incoming for Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, 35 minutes coming for Kelly Oubre, and he said it was like potentially temporary. I guess they'll like figure out whatever that means, right? What a temporary. But if I'm Kelly Oubre, like, show Nick Nurse why it should be permanent, right? So I do like Kelly Oubre here. I'm going to go back to the Spurs. I know I sound like a broken record, but I guess we have to show some respect to Keldon Johnson, who I continue to just overlook every slate, and he's been pretty good. So if the Spurs are going to be underowned, I'd be willing to go back to the well. And
we just keep assuming that Wembanyama is like a usage monster that's going to take away from these guys, and he just really hasn't been yet. So
yeah. Yep. I mean, it'll come, and of course, I'm going to play Keldon Johnson and like Vassell, and Wemby's going to have like 26, 13 and play 35 minutes, and that's going to happen. But it's not.
It hasn't happened yet. There's still some upside here. Anybody else for you at the small forward spot that we haven't yet discussed?
What did Matt Ryan end up playing?
20 minutes, 5 points, 3
20
rebounds.
minutes.
Did not do much of anything.
Chetty was okay the other night. He's been pretty consistent, like 17 to 23 minutes. It seems like 23 minutes is probably the ceiling, right? That 17 when Wembanyama's, because he subbed for Wemby at the first sub.
Listen, Wembanyama we know can get in foul trouble, so that would potentially open up. Do we know if any of these guys are playing for Philly here? Do we have word on that yet?
So I was clicking through earlier, and they're not on the injury report.
Right.
So
like KJ Martin,
he's available to play. I just like, what are they gonna? That's the problem with Nick Nurse. Whoever enters his rotation, whoever enters his like core 7, we need to know, but we don't. We don't know which members of this trade is going to. Bob Cove used to play in Philly. This is where he broke out. Batum is a wily veteran, right? KJ Martin, who's an athletic dude, played all 82 games, reliable, but we just don't know outside the starting 5.
Yep, I agree with you. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of if anything we get for no other small forwards here, though. Power forward, KD at 10-8. Zion coming off a near triple-double at 92. If there's no Ingram, do you go test the Zion waters here?
Probably. He showed what have we been begging for? We've been begging for peripherals, and you just said it. He almost triple-doubled. So I actually don't love the Durant 10-8, even without Booker. I mean, we need 54 fantasy points of that. He's only hit it once, and I'm not saying he can't, but
people still play him. People will still play. Yeah. Booker's out. People will still play Kevin Durant here. So
I mean, if I'm playing multiple lineups, I would also probably play Kevin Durant. I just don't think he's as much of a priority at 10-8 as he
I agree. You'll probably see more people play Joel Embiid at the center spot, I would imagine, than
agreed
than Durant at 10-8. Wemby, we talk about the Wemby experience, right? I mean, the man was as frustrating as all could be for periods of time, and then all of a sudden he gets on the floor and he's like, oh, rebound, block, 3, block, rebound. It's like, oh, he's got 35 fantasy points in 28 minutes. So willing to keep going to him. He was 12% rostered on the Tuesday slate there. Probably similar rostership, do you think here? Do you think people maybe give him another look now?
I would say something similar.
Okay. Would you rather Wemby or Banchero at 73?
Wemby. Banchero's like, I don't know what's going on with him. He just doesn't look. He
said back-to-back. He said back-to-back tough matchups, but then again, he didn't take advantage of Portland or Houston. So
he's just not shooting well. I saw a bunch of Twitter analysts talking about how he's not getting to the basket and he's settling for mid-range jumpers a lot of the time, and he can make them, but like he's a physically imposing dude. Like you're 6'10", 265, right? Like go to go to the cup, I think, would probably be his best approach. I'll stick with Wemby there, also multi-position eligible. So give me Wemby in that scenario.
Isaiah Stewart, obviously, if there is no Jalen Durant, you can probably play Stewart anyways, but no Jalen Durant certainly helps him out. John Collins had a nice night. Didn't get the rebounds, but again, that was a 40-point blowout. $5,600 for him. I'm sure we're both more than willing to go back to that. Well, thoughts on Kelly O, though? Kelly O came off the bench and just lit it up, and he has been really good, really off the bench for them all season long.
Yeah. Why does Memphis why does Utah have the stats showing?
Maybe they just updated.
How did that happen? How did that happen?
It's now officially midnight Eastern, so maybe these all just updated.
I don't see Detroit's updated.
Well, I don't know.
Like if you click on Detroit, they were just like, here you go, here's Utah for you.
They just plugged those in beforehand.
Yeah.
No, I got it. Refresh. They're there now.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
okay. Because
midnight Eastern, these the box scores update for us. So.
I know. I just think that's hilarious. Like I'm looking at Utah updated, but I'm looking at Detroit, who played 4 hours prior to like not updated. Hey, yeah, man, the guy is a fantasy point per minute freak. He's averaging almost 25 DraftKings points per game on 20.4 minutes. He is right now the better option between Walker Kessler and himself, right? Yeah. That just seems to be the case. So yeah, I think Kelly O in tournaments is great.
And he looks for Utah.
There will be looks.
18 and 20 fantasy points the last 2 games.
There will be looks and then probably clicks, and not on his name. Like, yeah, he's fine for a small slate. He's fine for a small slate.
Center spot. You got Joel Embiid at 11.5.
Yes.
Just going to be Jakob Poeltl and crew. Gonna give him a little bit of a test here, I guess. Coming off 81 fantasy points. So, yep.
Pretty good.
Nurkic got on a nice little run. Still not really scoring as well as we'd like him to be. But still 41 fantasy points, same matchup for him here at 7K. Don't know Jalen Durant's status for this one. You got Zach Collins, Walker Kessler, Jakob Poeltl. Where are we going here at the center spot after JoJo?
Dude, I kind of love center. Like, you can play JoJo, but I love Nurkic, especially if Booker doesn't play. You said it, he hasn't played well, at least scoring the basketball. But you love to see the 30 minutes. You love to see the double-double. He continues to be a presence for them passing the ball, 3+ assists in all 4 games. Check out that, whatever that number is tomorrow, John, if Booker's out. I think a Nurkic assist prop looks pretty tasty. We'll talk more about that on the 4 p.m. betting show.
Sure.
You and I.
Yeah, we got a full day. We got a 4 p.m. betting show. We got the 5 p.m. NBA show. Then I got the 7 p.m. NFL show. So you'll see me on screen 3 times on Thursday.
2's enough. Don't do that to the people. How about also Zach Collins?
You're going to go to Eubanks here for a second.
Well, we'll go. We're definitely going to get to. We're definitely going to get to Eubanks. But Zach Collins got in a little foul trouble last game, and that's always part of the Zach Collins experience. Made a 3 back-to-back games now. We're not 0 for anymore. But dude, he's been really productive. 14, 5, 4, 3. He's playing alongside Wemby and being really productive in that role. So. Going right back to obviously foul trouble. We just saw this matchup possibly against Yusuf Nurkic, so that could be a problem.
You've been liking Valanciunas. Is that still a thing for you?
I think the Valanciunas play was more contingent on Ingram being out for me. Things just opened up with one of those guys out, right? Like when one guy there is out, I think other players can get involved. The minutes had kind of been pretty crappy for Valanciunas, but he did get, I think he played, did he top 30? He played, he only played 21 minutes again, but like he went 21 minutes, 19 and 9. Like he's just a fantasy point per minute freak. Yep. So, I kind of think that they would need him on the floor if like Durant played.
Sure.
Because the more traditional center, OKC plays Chet, who can go out to the 3-point line. So that kind of sucks. So I would like to see Durant on the floor. And I would also like to see Ingram not. That would be my contingencies.
How are you looking at Bagley and Eubanks here?
Eubanks continues to be awesome. Every slate, he's been super awesome. Well, 3 of the 4, he's been awesome. Even on nights where he's not scoring. And Bagley's obviously right back in play. Wasn't great in the second half of this game. Didn't really have to be to get us to where we needed him
He
to
pretty much
be.
had 20 fantasy points at halftime. We thought we were in for like a 10x night out of him.
I know.
Like I said, pretty much everybody but Cade Cunningham just watched the game for Detroit in the second half of that game. Again, that's why they lost Portland, honestly.
The only thing is, like, nothing wrong with, like, the 33 minutes was great. The 6 rebounds were great. He just went 3 for 10 from the floor and stopped shooting in the second half. So I'd go right back to the Bagley barring the Jalen Duren news.
Sure. Moving on down, any other value centers for you here? Mo Wagner potentially at $3,800.
I wish Mo Wagner gave me the game he had yesterday in the. Yeah, I may have used Mo Wagner on the wrong shirt on slate, John. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I mean, there's always a Wendell Carter potential.
Wendell Carter really hasn't been playing that well, so
he has not. He has not.
From just like a production standpoint here, I mean, rebounds 8, 9, 8 are fine, but like shooting the ball horribly, not giving you a ton of defensive stats. Fantasy wise, he hasn't been great. Maybe he's doing what they want him to do on the floor. Real life NBA, but from a fantasy perspective, you were expecting a lot more out of this guy so far this year.
Yes, absolutely expecting a lot more. 2 for 8 and 2 for 7 is just brutal to see from him. So yeah, maybe some Mo Wagner they need an offensive spark. I will, John. So in this OKC game, I don't know how they're gonna how the Pelicans are going to handle the minutes, but if there is an athletic big like Bagley or like Stewart starting, Larry Nance played 23 minutes.
I saw that, yeah.
25 fantasy points. We know Larry Nance is a pretty good fantasy producer, so center is a really strong spot on this slate. Nance only center eligible is not great. We've seen for the longest time that he's power forward eligible, so of course now he's only center eligible. But 4,300 for Larry Nance makes sense.
Where's his price? What does he?
43. 25 fantasy points, 23 minutes. Yeah. He played more minutes than Valanciunas, so
could get there. Any other plays before we make a lineup?
I don't think so.
Plug in JoJo.
Yeah.
And what, Maxi probably here? Double it up.
I mean, they haven't let us down. Playing
together. Down yet. All right, so we got 5K at play. Let's see where we get
5K play.
Jalen Suggs.
Jalen Suggs has been really good. Yep.
Are we assuming Ingram's in or out because we go back to Hawkins here?
I think we probably have to assume he's in until we get word, because that wasn't an early. We got that like late, right? We got that like while we were on the stream, I believe, right? Didn't we get the Ingram news while we were doing the 5 p.m. stream?
Yes.
Yeah. So
who's our under 5K play then? We need a cheapie here. Eubanks is a utility. Bagley, we don't know what Durant. Not a ton of like under 5K value.
No, there is not. That might make JoJo getting to JoJo pretty hard. Clarkson 54 is probably like close to a plug at that price. It's kind of silly.
We probably do need you to just like go Nance or something here.
Nance or Eubanks, one of the two.
Yeah, I mean they're both center. I guess Eubanks has been a little bit more consistent with his production here. So Eubanks 45. It still gives like a 5K play. Let's see, forward 5K. Kelly O could certainly be the guy. Wagner down here 38. Another cheap center play. Grayson Allen is here. What did Kogi do? 30 minutes. We're assuming Booker's probably playing, right? So
I mean he's been doubtful, right? And now he's questionable. Yeah. So who knows? It's hard to say he's not playing.
Let's.
The value kind of sucks.
There's definitely not a lot of value. I mean, we definitely want to keep Maxi, but I mean, like, If you have to go down to Schroeder, maybe give you a 61.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't hate the Schroeder shout because he's been so productive.
68 Oubre. Do Oubre over Maxi. $1,000 to play with, $5,500 util. Could be literally anything.
I literally just looked at somebody. I mean, Eric Gordon.
I got Gordon here at 55 already.
I
mean, just Fultz, just might as well.
I don't. Yeah,
the minutes are gonna be there.
Yeah, the minutes are there.
Schroeder, Suggs, Gordon, Oubre, Embiid, Clarkson, Olynyk, and Fultz. Again, just a four-game example lineup for everybody here. We'll be back live at 5 o'clock Eastern time, giving you all the latest news and updates here. So James and I will be getting you all ready for this main slate here, taking us through the 6 o'clock hour. When we go live at 5 o'clock Eastern time. So make sure you like and subscribe to the show here now. Get those notifications when we go live. And James and I will catch you all later.